Welcome to Portsmouth Now. I'm your host, Rob Lauer. Well, spring is here, and with warmer weather, a lot of folks will be going outside to work on their lawns and in their gardens. And this spring, the City of Portsmouth will kick off a new beautification initiative called Pretty Up Portsmouth. On today's show, we'll take a look at that initiative, and we'll meet some people who are working to make Portsmouth not only a better place to live, but a prettier one too. All that's coming up now on Portsmouth Now. Welcome to Portsmouth Now. On Saturday, April 20th, several events will be held to kick off the city's new beautification initiative, Pretty Up Portsmouth. To find out about those events, I recently spoke to Lavores Pace, the director of the city's Marketing and Communications Department. I'm joined by Lavores Pace, who is going to tell us about the Pretty Up Portsmouth project. I know that's what they're calling it now. Yeah. Is that the official title so far, or
kind of, sort of? It's somewhat like a citywide beautification initiative, if you will.
Okay.
And we every year the City of Portsmouth sponsors a team with the Rotary's Paint Your Heart Out, and we're going to do that again this year. But when the city manager John Rowe asked about what kinds of things could we do to clean up and how do we kick off this thing, I said, well, it already makes sense to do it with an event that's already widely known throughout the city.
Right.
And we always comprise a team. So I said, well, why don't we just, do it on April 20th and do it, partner with the Rotaries Club and do the initiative then. And the good thing is it snowballed into something bigger than that, because now the Great American Cleanup is also going to happen on that day. So it's a lot that's going to happen.
So what exactly is going to happen beside those two things?
Well, aside from those two things, we're going to look at strategic areas in downtown Portsmouth. For instance, maybe the front of City Hall.
Okay.
There's an area when you come out of the downtown tunnel, to me, is an eyesore. As being the marketing director, I mean, everything speaks to the brand of Portsmouth.
Right.
And so when you come into this city, I would love for everything to be pretty. So we're trying to pretty up that area. And maybe some other areas, I think probably we'll do some things with the containers in downtown, where we used to have they did the roses on high. They'll probably replace that. And of course, we're calling all communities throughout the city of Portsmouth that whatever you normally do to clean up your community, join us in doing it on that particular day. So while we may not go throughout the entire city, we're hoping that the entire city is going to be doing something. And of course, the Rotary normally does about 9 or 10 houses or whatever. So it gives us that overall effect citywide that we'll need in order to launch this.
So like civic leagues, neighborhood groups, get out there.
Yeah, we're gonna start promoting it. We're gonna ask for civic leagues. We're gonna ask for volunteers. Businesses that may also want to participate.
Okay.
Anybody. We'll take anybody. Whosoever will let them come. I mean, we really want to have this to be a real big thing. And of course, we're doing this to make fun and to enjoy it. But really and truly, this is going to be probably a year-long initiative that we make sure that we keep Portsmouth pretty.
So this is kicking it off, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Kind of, sort of, because we used to have a Clean Community Commission and a Clean Community Coordinator, and we no longer have that. But the city still needs to be a clean community, so that's why we're kicking off Pretty Up Portsmouth.
Well, you work with the idea of brands. Everything has a brand.
Yeah.
And how do you think what is the brand that Portsmouth has right now? And how can this, does it have to do partially with attractiveness?
Well,
I know when you come out that tunnel, you're not seeing necessarily the most attractive part of Portsmouth from the freeway.
Right. I mean, the thing of it is, nowadays, all cities in Hampton Roads, for as much as regionalism is alive and well, each city is competing for citizens.
Yeah.
And we have to make sure that we have a livable city. We have to make sure that we have a viable city that is conducive to work, play, all of the things that economic development talks about, live, work, and play. We want to make sure that our brand speaks well of the city of Portsmouth. And so part of that has to do with the way we look. People want to live in a city that looks nice. They want to live in a city that has very good services and good service delivery. And they also want to live in a city that gives something back in the way of events, wellness and all of that good stuff. So this is just a part of everything that we're trying to do.
Okay, so if there is a group, individuals, businesses that want to get involved in this,
Yeah.
what should they do?
Well,
Who should they contact?
They can call us. Donna Corpus, who I'm sure you've talked with, she's going to handle the volunteers for us. But initially, if they're interested in doing it, they can call our office 393-5143, and they can let us know. We'll pass that information on to Donna. Of course, we meet on a regular basis. So all of this is going to be a big effort that everybody works with. So if you want to be a part of it, please do so, because we will be glad to have you.
All right. Thank you, LaVorse.
Thank you.
If you grew up in the 1960s or 70s, you probably heard the phrase, "Keep America Beautiful." What you may not know is that Keep America Beautiful is a nonprofit organization that was founded in the early 1950s. It's the world's largest community improvement association. In the early 1970s, they made television history when they produced a public service announcement that featured a crying Indian. Their signature event is the Great American Cleanup, which takes place every year. In 2010, it attracted nearly 4 million volunteers. The Great American Cleanup will be part of the Pretty Up Portsmouth initiative. And here to tell us more about it is Donna Corpus. So now we're going to talk trash with Donna Corpus, and I apologize for that trash joke. I'm sure you get a lot of them.
I get a lot of it.
And why would that be? You have a particular title,
I
don't
do.
you?
I am the recycling coordinator for the city of Portsmouth.
So that's recycling garbage?
And what I'm going to talk to you today about is a really exciting event that we're getting ready to have on April 20th. It's the Great American Cleanup.
Okay.
And we are going to have people all over the city picking up trash, litter, cleaning up the neighborhoods. We've got businesses that have already registered for it. And we have schools that are going to be involved.
Great.
The Churchland Recycling Club is...
I didn't even know they had a recycling club.
I didn't either, and I'm excited to learn more about what they do. But the big event that we're hosting, and it's going to be right in the parking lot beside City Hall, right here on the waterfront, we're going to be holding a household hazardous waste collection event, as well as electronics recycling and document shredding. We're going to be doing all three of those in one day.
So if you have any documents you don't want the government or somebody to get hold of, you can bring them here.
Bring them here, and it's Stealth Shredding is going to be doing that for us. SIPSA will be taking care of our household hazardous waste.
And what would household hazardous waste, what would that be?
That would be paint, oil, motor oil, pesticides, almost anything in your house that you're not sure, oh, should I even put this in the trash?
We dump it down the sink?
We certainly don't want it in the drain. We don't want it in the storm drain. We don't want it in the garbage. This is a way for citizens to, they can environmentally get rid of it safely. So it's a good thing. So we want them to, load up their cars. Our plan is for them to drive into the parking lot, and we'll have people taking out the items for them, so that maybe they don't even have to get out of their car.
So it's almost like a car wash.
Yes, just come on in, and we'll unload your car, and you can be on your way and feel good about it. With the electronics, though, think about how many cell phones do you have around your house?
3 right now.
I know. And do you use all 3? Probably not.
No, none of them. They're old.
So bring those in. You bring those in, bring in old curling irons, old vacuum cleaners, pretty much anything with a plug.
What about things, computers, things like
that? Computers, definitely computers, your monitors, yeah, all of that. Everything that, if you're like me, I think I have 3 old computers in my house right now up in the attic. So now's the time to bring that out of the attic and bring it to the April 20th event. We're going to be doing it from 9 until 1 on Saturday, April 20th. And so people will be cleaning up the city and also cleaning up their houses by getting rid of all that stuff.
Okay, so I'm just curious. Once you bring in, say, a computer or something like that, is it recycled?
Yes,
what exactly happens after that point?
Well, the plastic can actually be shredded and turned into other things. There's metal inside the computer and other components that actually can be used again. So it can be turned into something else.
Well, why is it not a good idea, just to toss something like that into a trash can?
Well, for one thing, we run into landfill issues. We don't want to fill up the landfill, or we have to pay per ton to take the stuff over to to be properly disposed of, which in Portsmouth is through Willabrator, the incinerator.
Right.
So it gets burned, which of course I always think is bad for the environment
atmosphere,
sometimes.
yeah.
So the less we can do there, and the more we can do it the right way is what we want to do.
Okay, and all this is part of what they're calling the Pretty Up Portsmouth Day.
Right, Pretty Up Portsmouth. So we're going to be doing this throughout the year, but this is the big kickoff event. So we're going to have a lot of activities going on. So we want citizens to get involved. And if they want to register to volunteer to clean up their neighborhood or clean up their business, or they need to just give me a call or an email.
What is your number?
It is 393-8621. And give me a call and register, or if they need more information about what they can actually bring to the sites.
Now, you mentioned businesses were also involved. Could you give us an example of a business?
Oh, well, last year for the Great American Cleanup, we had actually Starbucks on Effingham. They volunteered to clean up the area around them, the streets and medians. So they've already called me again. They want to be involved again this year.
Okay, so if someone is watching this and they have a small business or they're part of a big chain and they would want to get involved, they just call you too and they can get involved.
Right.
It's still not too late?
No, it's not too late. We want them to call because we'll probably up until pretty much the day before. If you want to volunteer to pick up litter or volunteer at our site where we're collecting the recyclables, then give me a call and I'll be happy to have you. And we're just excited that Portsmouth is going to be so pretty and clean after all this is over with.
Well, thank you. Thanks for telling us about that.
Thank
you. You guys take advantage of this. Our look at the Pretty Up Portsmouth initiative continues right after this message.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities, to ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give, advocate, volunteer,
Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Traditional light bulbs actually generate 9 times more heat than light. Switch to Energy Star light bulbs, and you'll realize just how much cash you are really burning through. Saving energy saves you money. Learn more at energysavers.gov.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Now, and a look at the Pretty Up Portsmouth kickoff events being held on Saturday, April 20th. Every April, the Rotary Club of Portsmouth and many volunteers pool their resources to help the elderly and disabled spruce up their homes. This is part of a larger nationwide initiative called Paint Your Heart Out. This year, Paint Your Heart Out takes place on April 20th in conjunction with the Pretty Up Portsmouth initiative. Calvin Vandermolen is here from the Portsmouth Rotary. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
You are in charge of the Paint Your Heart Out activity that's going on in April. So how long has this been going on? It's a yearly thing that you do?
Yes, this has been going on for, this will be our 18th year, and they started it back in 1995, and since Paint Your Heart Out has been performed in Portsmouth, we've painted and spruced up 171 Portsmouth homes.
Okay, so now what is it exactly? You come into homes, you have 20, 30 people, volunteers who come to a home and paint it?
Yes, what we end up doing is we go out to the community and find people's homes, elderly people or people with disabilities that they need their homes spruced up. And then we have a committee that goes out and evaluates the homes, and then we get the volunteers together, and then we meet on April 20th, which is going to be this year, April 20th, and we go out and we'll get everyone on there to scrape, paint, and spruce up the homes.
So it's sort of like the old barn raising idea, only in this case you're sprucing up a house.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when does the process begin of selecting people?
We start in January. We put out some information to the pilot and put information in there. And we also went out to the Civic Leagues and to the churches with flyers to look for houses and have people call homes in.
Okay, so you're looking for people elderly, disabled, under a certain income, and
Yes, the income that we're looking at is people that have around $22,000 or less, right around in that age. But
and homeowners
with that are elderly or with disabilities.
Okay, great. And so then the decision is made, and now if people wanted to be volunteers, if they want to volunteer this year, how could they? They want to be some of the painters. Are people able to volunteer for that then?
Right now we have all our teams selected. We have 7 teams already selected from different organizations throughout the city. So what we have is people like QVC, Norfolk Southern, Grove Baptist, or Grove Church, Portsmouth Rotary, Churchland Rotary, Portsmouth, or the Churchland Rotary, and the Navy is going to participate with us this year.
Okay, I'm assuming this will be an ongoing thing that you're planning on doing for years to come. If there are organizations watching this broadcast right now and they wanted maybe for next year to somehow get involved, would they just contact you?
Yes, they can contact the Portsmouth Rotary, and we have a number on the website.
Okay.
And they can contact our secretary, and they can get the information to us.
All right, so person, their house has been selected, they wake up that Saturday morning and suddenly they look out the window and what do they see?
They'll have a whole bunch of cars coming out. What we end up doing in the morning is we go to City Park and do a safety brief for everybody that's involved with Paint Your Heart Out. So we'll have anywhere from 240 to 350 people meet at City Park in the morning, do a safety brief, and then we'll go to the homes and we'll disperse to each home. This year we're looking doing about 5 to 7. The people will arrive there, around 30 to 35 people will arrive at the house. They'll disseminate the products of getting all the scrapers to certain people, getting paint supplies divided up and doing their teams and start scraping on the house right away.
I mean, that's something to be inside here.
And all of a sudden, they have one coordinator, they have a Rotary coordinator and a paint team captain that usually is in touch and talking to the homeowner, so they know that we're coming to the house. It's not a total surprise, but then they know that we're coming and that it's not totally too disturbing on their lifestyle. And
then by sunset, the house is finished.
By sunhouse, everything is already painted, spruced up. They clean up all the yard. We have all the yard debris or anything that were left over is all clean and it's all taken care of. So all they're left with is just a newly painted home. We have looking at getting 7 houses. Right now we have 5. So if there's anyone that needs their homes, they can submit it to the Portsmouth Rotary, and we'll go from there.
So what's the reaction of people once they see the house repainted?
Most of the homeowners are very humble, very thankful, and it's very moving to see that of what we can do and touch the community and what service we can provide for them.
Well, that's fantastic. Good luck with this. Continued success. And thanks for joining us today and talking about it. When we come back, we're going to interview some citizens who are doing their bit to pretty up Portsmouth. So stay tuned.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come. Tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Here at the GED Pep Talk Center, we have pep talkers standing by to get you motivated for your GED diploma. Text the name Terry to 69222 for a sympathetic pep talk.
You show people what you really are.
Or for a gentle pep talk, text the name Deborah.
You know you're going to make people very proud of you.
And if that's not enough, text the name Danny for an extreme pep talk.
Prove everyone wrong. Show them you're the boss.
Get your GED Pep Talk and find free GED classes. Text the name of the person you want a pep talk from to 69222.
Welcome back to Portsmouth Now. One of the objectives of the Pretty Up Portsmouth campaign is to convince individuals and community groups to become more involved in making their neighborhoods more attractive places to live. Recently, we spoke to citizens from one particular neighborhood who've been doing this for decades. I'm joined by Valerie Cosnati and Jack Erickson, who are from the Old Town Civic League. Thanks for joining us today.
Glad to be here.
As you know, on April 20th, Saturday, April 20th, the Pretty Up Portsmouth campaign kicks off, which is all about beautifying the city, making it a more attractive place to live. Now, Old Town is always gorgeous. You drive through here, you see these beautiful parks like we're in now, Red Lion Square, and the flowers and everything. And the assumption is, I think, that the city finances all of that. There are Parks and Rec workers out here busily planting flowers and keeping everything up. And these little park areas are actually part of the city's park system. Is that perception true or false? False. Okay. So can you enlighten us?
This is an example of one of our pocket parks, a small neighborhood park. We have 3 or 4 pocket parks, and this is Red Lion Square. A great example of several projects over the last 13 years at different points in time that through the fundraising efforts of the Old Town Civic League and Beautification Committee is part of the Civic League. You know, we have come together and beautified and made this the children's park here.
Okay, now the Civic League is not a branch of the government. This is just people in the neighborhood who have come together over the years. They have formed the Civic League. So all of this is fundraising, volunteer work going on. This is not part of the city government.
No, it is not.
This is citizens becoming active and taking ownership of their community. All right, so how long has the Civic League been in existence?
Over 30 years, and started out with bake sales, and then I think a lot of folks in Portsmouth and in other parts of Hampton Roads are familiar with Ghost Walk, which is the Friday before Halloween. That's the largest fundraiser that we have. And the first large project many years ago the Civic League got involved in was restoring a house, a historic home over on the corner of London and Washington Street. But then this children's park with the playground equipment, this was in the year 2000, the fall of 2000, and great effort on the residents here in designing this swing set so that it fit in well with the historic part of our community. And Ann Davis was very instrumental in having this shipped through her company. This was a $37,000 project alone 13 years ago, and that's with free labor. And Mark Woodland has actually, he's a photographer, he videoed the transformation of this.
So speaking of the labor, I see things that are like flowers, you know, planted alongside the iron fences over there. And throughout the place, do you all plant those flowers? I mean, is it the members of the Civic League coming out and actually?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Not only planted the flowers, but put up the fences, purchased them, scraped them down, painted them, erected them, all at Civic League expense.
That's impressive. So if there were other neighborhoods in Portsmouth, other Civic Leagues, what advice would you give them as far as, I mean, you seem to be a perfect example of a neighborhood who is sort of, says you've owned the neighborhood, you're taking control of it. And what advice would you give to other communities within the city?
Well, I think they have to get organized first, and you can do a lot without money. Certainly cleaning up leaves, trash that's on the streets. That's an easy thing to do. People buy some garbage bags and go out with a rake and pick it up, and the city will pick it up for them. And that's all free. if they want to go further, well, you start the way we did, bake sales and donations and so forth, and every little bit counts.
Now, Valerie, you were telling me a few minutes ago that there was a fountain here that you erected.
Yes,
Civic League has.
the Civic League, it's pretty much a 50-50 partnership between the Civic League and a very prominent member of Old Town passed away 7 years ago, Ann Doug Smith, who her and her husband lived on Middle Street in his parents' house a little further down. But when she had died, her family left anything that was donated in lieu of flowers to a project for beautification and Civic League. And so what we came up with was, it's a courtyard garden. It'll be called Grandma's Garden. And it's a lovely fountain just across the street over there, kind of tucked in with a 30-foot wall. And we'll have a dedication the beginning of July. It's really a very peaceful area. And it's a nice addition over and across the street without disturbing the green space.
And there's lots of things,
there's
things
flowers,
planted around
there's
that.
benches, there's urns. It's a lovely, there's a cherub, that's the fountain, and it took some time to all come together, but we'll be very happy this summer when we can have a ribbon cutting.
Are there other spots that if people wanted to drive through or stroll through Old Town and see examples of what you've done?
Sure. At the corner of London and Washington Streets, we have Westminster Park. And then at the corner of North and Dinwiddie Streets is the Greenwich Square Park. And we also take some ownership in the Crayford Bay Park, although that's really just a city park.
All right.
But we've planted flowers there.
Well, great. Well, thank you, and continued luck. It's always beautiful down here any time of year. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks. Well, that's our show for today. To find out about any of the Pretty Up Portsmouth kickoff events being held on Saturday, April 20th, or any of the other dozens of events that take place throughout any given month of the year, simply log on to www.portsvaevents.com and then come to Portsmouth, where, if you give us a day, we'll give you a vacation. I'm Rob Lauer. Join me next time for another episode of Portsmouth Now.